here at 3D Peep Sight's World Headquarters in Stillwater, Oklahoma with our good friend and archery enthusiast as well as world record holder, Dr. Roy Durbin, who has made the far trek all the way to our fair state of Oklahoma from Colorado to strictly just shoot your bow, which we absolutely love. Thank you again, Doctor. So, tell us a little bit about what your experience today. How'd you feel about your whole day in Stillwater, Oklahoma?
Well, I brought a bow that has been completely untuned for distances, and within 3 hours here today, I was dialed in on all distances between 20 yards and 150 yards.
Right.
Of course, I expected to hit the bullseye at 20 yards. I'm not sure I expected to hit a 4-inch target at 150 yards, but that was a very pleasant experience.
That is the joy and the beauty of the 3D Peep, is getting to enjoy that. That's something that Lane and I never get tired of, no matter who we bring out here, from world record holders to the kid down the street. When they hit that target at that distance, that feeling, that vibe that we can feel off of them is what keeps us going on a day-to-day basis, trying to get the world to understand what 3D Peep Sight is. And that's, in a nutshell, why we're doing what we're doing. But to fine-tune that, more importantly, what needs to be said and what has to be said is, in the world of long-distance shooting, we're not out there trying to necessarily harvest those animals at that distance. But how do you feel your closer range shots were after you started shooting those longer range shots?
Well, when we started trying to dial this in between 120 and 150 yards, I was a little nervous and was very pleasantly surprised when, actually, my first shot at 148 yards, I nailed that 4-inch target. Well, maybe there was a little bit of luck there, but then when I went back right afterwards and dialed it back to 95 yards and aimed at one of the 3D deer targets, I hit 3 out of 3, and one was in the upper leg, and one was right through the heart, and one was a little bit back, but all 3 of those animals would have been down. So it certainly makes shorter distance shooting more comfortable.
Out of the whole experience, before you got here, was there any one thing that you said, you know what, I hope that when I walk away from there, I get to at least feel this, experience this, or do this? Was there anything that you were hoping to do that you haven't done yet? Because we still have time, we can do it.
Well, I wanted to. I've got the 3D Peep Sight. I've also got a slider, and I've never used them in conjunction with one another. So I wanted to see if I could actually get all of the distances. I mean, essentially down to 5-yard increments between 20 yards and 150 yards. So
I think you did that.
I did, and I wasn't sure I'd be able to, but that was my goal. And I'm very happy with it. One of the nice things that you guys have mentioned to me today is that if anybody else was a little confused or having some difficulty, they could come here, and for a nominal amount, you guys would take care of them, spend several hours with them, work with them, make sure that they were comfortable with it, and for the rest of their life, they've got whatever distance they want to practice dialed into their bow.
Very good. So he's given an open invitation.
I'm volunteering you guys to teach everybody.
We'll accept. It's really so simple, it's almost scary, but we absolutely positively would invite anybody, if you want to come shoot, to feel free, because not everybody has 150 yards to be able to practice in, and we'd be more than happy to do that. But probably even more so than that is the setup is crucial. The 2D loops at 1 1/8 inch apart is a crucial part of the system. And then once you get that in, it's just like anything else that you do on your bow, you've got to go out and shoot it. And you've got to figure out where those yardages are, and you have to learn where you have torque or where you have imperfections, and then that gives you the availability or the knowledge to go ahead and fix those different problems or glitches, so to speak.
Well, I've used this system on my other bow. This is a new bow since last year, and I had practiced a little bit. What I like is I get to shoot the same whether I'm shooting at 20 yards or 120 yards.
Yeah, same exact setup, same exact trust your pins we talked about earlier. Get to shoot the exact same. Let's talk a little bit. I know you don't like gloating about yourself in any way, shape, or form, but tell us just a handful of your favorite accomplishments in the archery world. The handful of the 5 favorite hunts. They don't have to be the world records, which is 15.
I've got a bunch of number 1s and number 2s, and I've been lucky. You can't get a world record if you're not out there trying. I've really enjoyed hunting Africa. I've really enjoyed hunting the South Pacific. I suppose if I had to pick the one animal that I feel was the best accomplishment with a bow was getting a whitetail in New Zealand. Whitetails are pretty rare in New Zealand, very difficult to hunt, it's very open. And I actually used your system on that. It is a presumptive world record, probably because not a lot of them are taken with a bow, and they're so rare. But I got it at 75 yards. And I had to take the shot because there was no way to get closer. I just had to. So after practicing at 120, 130 yards, I felt pretty darn comfortable that I could do it. And the whitetail only went a very short distance, maybe 25 yards before it dropped. I got it right through the heart.
So you shot the animal at 75 yards using the 3D peep system, and the animal was found harvested less than a third of the way from the distance of you shot. So
I didn't think about that. That's true.
So you walked farther to where your arrow hit than from where your arrow hit to where the animal lied. There's not very many bow hunters that in this world get to say that, especially after harvesting an animal like that.
I suppose there's always an element of luck involved. But I'm proud of it. My near goal is to try to harvest a Marco Polo sheep with a bow. That's not going to be easy, and a lot of people told me I'm crazy for even trying. But I'm going to take this setup exactly as it is now, and if I have to try to shoot it at a longer distance, then I will. And if I get it, great. If I don't, great. But that probably would be my private crowning achievement.
Wouldn't you feel like most all of your achievements started out to be your private achievements? And then the rest of the world, we absorbed our way in somehow or another and said, hey, I want a piece of Roy Durbin. I want to be that guy.
Once you get one, that's right, you want to get something else. And there's still plenty of animals out there for me to get.
That's awesome. That is awesome, Doc. Well, I want to say again, thank you from Lane and I both. Thank you so much for coming to Stillwater, Oklahoma, our little podunk piece of the world, and coming and playing with us this afternoon. We appreciate you very much, Doc.
Thank you for having me.